Welcome back,
Yeah.
everybody,
It's
to the
another
Force Losers
live
podcast.
stream. Yeah.
Absolutely. It would not be a Saturday night if we were not here yucking it up on the YouTubes. How the hell you doing tonight, Brad?
I'm hanging in there. I'm you know what? I'm better right now than I have been in a couple of weeks.
Good man. Good man. Good man. Yeah, work has been hellacious, but that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. I am toasty. I am caffeinated. So we are going to have some fun. Tonight is going to be a fun night because we actually have a guest joining us today from the Red 5 family. From a certain point of view podcast, I want everybody to give a huge, ginormous, gargantuan Force Losers welcome to Adam.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I can't wait. This is gonna be a blast.
Oh, man. Yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. Thank you for joining us. So tonight, before we kick this off and before we get into everything, Adam, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience out there. Give them a little back history on you and then on the show, so that way they know where you're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, my name's Adam. I from the Pittsburgh area. Our show started with it's my high school buddy, college buddy. I've been watching Star Wars together, movies together for decades, and he approached me and asked if I would have any interest in starting up a Star Wars podcast. Star Wars is like his favorite franchise by far, and we have very much disagreed on some Star Wars stuff as of late, specifically, right around Last Jedi time. So we wanted to start this show mainly because we wanted to try to be that example that, we can disagree and still be friends, still have a good time, still love the Star Wars, still talk about it, even if we don't like one or two things the same. So that's kind of where, from a certain point of view, came from. So we've been going since November, so we're a relatively younger show. We just did our 40th episode today, and
Nice.
talking about A New Hope today. So we had a pretty fun time talking about kind of some behind the scenes stuff from A New Hope. So
Sweet, dude. Sweet. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I found your show through the network, and I try as best I can to keep up, but you guys are definitely really insightful. You guys dig really deep into every facet of what you guys are talking about, and I really, really enjoy that, which is why I think that
appreciate that. Yeah.
I think this is why it's going to be such a cool discussion tonight. So what we are discussing tonight, it was actually born out of a Twitter convo where everybody who's aware of the show knows my feelings and Brad's feelings around 2017's Power Ranger film. We have railed until we are weak in the knees about the injustices done to that film, namely not being sequelized. And I was getting into another one of those fired up rants that I get into with that, and then Adam here jumped in and started, getting right in there with it. And I made the comment that I've got this in my head. I know how the sequel should have gone, and it made me think, well, hell, man, that'd be a fun show. So that's what we're here to discuss tonight. Is if we had carte blanche, if we had the reins of this, Lionsgate, when they still owned the property, if they were like, hey, you three goons, come up with our sequels. Like, this is what we're going to be doing tonight. We are going to put together our ideal sequels to that one movie. But I think the logical place to start tonight would be going over everyone's history with the franchise, right? Figure out where everyone's coming from with it. So Brad, why don't you kick it off? Let us know when did you find the Power Rangers franchise?
It wasn't on Disney Channel yet. I forget where it was that I watched it, but it was like the Saturday morning cartoon. And Or even if it wasn't even always Saturday, it was a cartoon that was like on, and whenever I found it, I would watch it. That was just the go-to. And then I watched one of their movies. It's my sister and my favorite movie. So, but no, that was about it. I mean, I remember that growing up from a really, really young age.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Adam?
Well, what year was season 1? Because that's
1993.
Yeah,
1993.
Okay, so 1993. That's when I started. I remember that was a after school Fox show for me. So, like when I came home from school, that was on. I'd actually watch it with my mom, who really loved watching Power Rangers with me for some reason. But so yeah, I mean, I remember going to the theater and seeing the first movie in theaters. That was like a premiere moment for me back then.
Yeah.
And then I really watched it consistently, probably up through Zeo.
Mm-hmm.
After that, and started to fall off around Turbo. My brother was still watching it then, so I'd watch it with him. But I started falling off around Turbo, and found it on Netflix again, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. And so I watched through everything up through Zero again. And then I was super jazzed to find out that they were doing this 2017 remake, and I was totally on board with it. I was actually more hyped for that than I don't know how to say this, but I was actually more hyped for that than maybe even some Star Wars stuff that came out. So yeah, I go back to 93, I guess.
Yeah, samesies. Let's see, it was August 23rd, 1993. That's not from memory. I Googled that. I don't have a didactic memory. So August 23rd, 1993 was a Saturday. Again, Googled that. So I was 5, and I remember distinctively watching the premiere, and, it was one of those things where, how to find a not crass way. It's like seeing your first pair of bare breasts. You're just like, huh? Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was hooked from the jump, man. And I watched it religiously. It was like, I mean, I remember I got bullied for going to school wearing a Power Rangers t-shirt, and I was so proud of having that t-shirt on.
I'm sure I did too.
Oh yeah. I remember in 4th grade, this is embarrassing. In 4th grade, I got one outfit that we got to get before school. It was a pair of green pants and like a green shirt. And I wore that outfit out because I was like, I'm the Green Ranger. I'm short and fat, but I'm still the Green Ranger. And, I remember seeing the movie, the 95 movie when it came out. Hell, I just watched that a few nights ago on YouTube. I found it on YouTube and watched it there. And I think I
had to buy that on DVD.
Of course, right? Like if you find it, you get it.
That and the Green Ranger saga.
Yeah, I mean, like if you see it on DVD or Blu-ray, you buy it. Period. That's not even a question. You just grab it. So I mean, I think I fell off after In Space. I think they lost me at the Lost Galaxy. But and then with 2017's movie came out, but that was the same year I think as Infinity War, and I was pretty jazzed about Infinity War, but I was like, man, I'm kind of curious about this Power Rangers movie. I wanted to see what their take was on it, because that movie, it has a unique set of challenges. It has to balance a 20 teens sensibility with something that was inherently campy from the 90s, right? Like you go back and watch season 1, season 2, season 3 is really, I think season 3 of Mighty Morphin is like they jumped the shark on some moments. Like and that's saying something for Power Rangers. Like, yeah. I'm gonna say this. You have a character that's built up like Ninjor, right? Like he looks like this ultra badass samurai.
Oh my god. What a dweeb.
Oh, Kevin,
that was a.
There he is.
Okay, did I cut out?
You cut out
right during the Ninjor joke.
During the Ninjor joke.
Damn it! I got by my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I got by my Wi-Fi. I know my wife is watching right now, babe. Money, please.
Money, please.
Okay. All right. So I remember going in to see 2017's Power Rangers. From the jump, I got this impression that, like, okay, all right, they're trying something here. This is they're approaching this from a very specific type of angle. And as the movie progressed, I was just more and more taken aback by, like, wow, they're not doing a whole lot of they're not trying to sell you on so much of the whiz bang. They're trying to sell you on the characters. Like, that's literally what 3/4 of that entire movie is doing. And I remember walking out of that theater thinking, man, like they really nailed something there. Like, they really nailed something there. To find out they're not going to follow it up was one of the greatest injustices ever done upon film ever. Harumph. Brad, give the governor harumph.
Harumph.
I'll give you one.
But why, like, did it just not do good in the box offices? Why did they decide not to sequelize it?
It didn't do what they wanted it to do in terms of what it brought in, right?
Oh, Lord.
And it was released at a weird time of the year, right? Like, movies that are released in the spring, like I think it was released in March or something like that. Traditionally, they're not going to pull in that much money, right? So it did well. It did okay, and it largely, I think the reaction to it was a little split at first. I think people around their first time viewing it maybe didn't catch on to what they were going after. Maybe it took them a little while to grasp it, but as the years have progressed, it's kind of garnered like this cult appreciation for it because of the unique swings it took, and it's we know there's a Power Rangers movie in development, but a big part of my brain's like, I don't know if they're going to be able to. I don't know what angle they're taking on it. I mean, they're obviously not sequelizing this one, so I'm like, I don't know. What can you show me that was just as captivating as that was, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just going from memory here, but was there some type of like ownership change? Not really ownership change, but was there some type of rights issue between now and when that came out? I thought there was something that switched over that might be a reason why they didn't sequelize that.
Lionsgate, I think, sold it to Hasbro. Sold the property to Hasbro.
Okay.
So, Hasbro could, in theory, bring that cast back and continue that story, but from what I've read, it doesn't at all see like they're doing that. They're doing like a fresh reboot.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll definitely see the reboot.
Sure.
And
sure.
I've read some weird things about it actually like being more of a direct sequel to the original series. Those first 3 seasons, I don't know. That sounds weird to me. I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, that sounds weird to me too.
It might be. They're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to do a lot of like exposition to explain where everything's coming from, right? And again, like I said, season 3 got wacky. So I don't know. So anyway, though, let's dive into the meat of this, shall we? So everyone assumably, I'm assuming everyone is familiar with 2017's Power Rangers, how it ended, right?
Yeah, we at least Pizza and Parsecs is at least in the chat. They're saying they've seen it for sure.
Okay, so they're familiar. We know how it ended, right? Rangers slapped Rita into the upper atmosphere with a Zord. That's pretty badass. Like, they literally slapped her with a Zord into the he backhanded her into the upper atmosphere. That is a big dick energy move.
Well, it was the first time they got the Zord. Of course, it's going to be a big dick energy.
Oh god, and that scene too. Like, sidebar. That scene where they're falling into that fiery pit, what the Zeo crystal's in, and like they all think they're gonna die, and then they merge together and they merge as the Megazord. Like, brilliant. More of that, less of everything else. Yeah. I'm gonna get fiery about this shit tonight. I'm just saying.
Oh, no.
Like, I'm gonna get amped up. So at the very end of the movie, they of course tease Tommy Oliver,
Yes.
right?
Actually,
Back in the detention hall.
I mean, yeah, Tommy Oliver definitely, but they teased the Green Ranger the whole way through that movie.
Absolutely.
Whole way
Rita
through.
was the Green Ranger.
It doesn't stop. I mean, everything about Rita is Green Ranger, and then Tommy Oliver at the end, green stuff there. I mean, it's everywhere.
Absolutely.
Let's just talk about Green Ranger now. I mean, that had to be the second movie, right?
Of course. The sequel had to have been an adaptation of Green with Evil. Had to have been, right? Which is going to make this such a bittersweet conversation, because the way they could have, like, the different paths they could have taken in that adaptation, the fact that we're not going to see that it's not fair. It's not fair, because let's think about this, right? You got they tease Tommy Oliver in the detention room. He's got a Leatherman jacket, which I'm not even sure is Angel Grove High Letterman, right? I'm really not sure that it's even an Angel Grove High.
That's fair. Which makes sense. I mean, Tommy moved. Yeah, I mean, Tommy moved from out of town anyway.
Right.
So if he's kind of the new kid on the block, or she's the new kid on the block,
Right. And clearly, Tommy is in trouble right off the bat. So he has something in common with this crop of Rangers. The thread that connects them is they've all got some drama going on. They've all got some
They're all angsty teenagers.
Yeah, and which I thought was clever from the jump, because the original premise of the series was these were like your A+ kids. These were your future world leaders here. These kids are vastly different than that, and which is what makes the character development in that movie so damn good. So we have to assume that Tommy has got some stuff going on as well, and I think that, if you find a way to bring Rita back from the upper atmosphere with the green power coin, I can't imagine that she would not use some of that trouble as a way to really get Tommy. Because I don't think mind control is the best way to go about a Green with Evil adaptation nowadays. I don't think that's the best way. I think the best way to go about it is to genuinely pit Tommy against the Rangers for whatever reason you can manipulate him into or her into. I think that's probably the meatier way to go about it. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah. When you're saying that, I'm thinking brainwash, but not like the brainwash that Tommy was brainwashed in, Green with Evil, the series. I'm thinking more of like manipulation. I think is where you're going with that.
Exactly.
So it's not kind of finding something that Rita can get under his skin with, and control him that way. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's a little bit more of a, like you said at the beginning, this was kind of a balance between some gritty stuff along with the campy stuff. I think that would be a pretty cool way of doing a little bit of a real world take on Green with Evil,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because you have to think that after what happened in Angel Grove at the end of the first movie, there's probably a lot of interested parties as to what the hell that was.
Yeah,
why was there a
practically leveled, and
exactly, like it gets the Thor treatment, it gets the New Mexico Town and Thor treatment, right? So I mean, there's got to be some interested parties, right? Yeah, media, government, they've got to be interested in what was going on. That's going to play a role into it. So maybe like almost from like a Batman v Superman angle, if Rita were to try to convince Tommy that these Rangers were the bad guys.
They're the ones who destroyed the town.
Exactly. And, she tried to stop them and she couldn't get it done. And now they're planning their next move and we got to get ahead of them. We have to get ahead of them. So we have to attack them first. If she can find a way to convince Tommy that is the thing, like maybe, I don't know, from a personal standpoint, Tommy wants to do the right thing. He wants to, he wants to be on the right side, but he keeps finding himself on the bad side. You know, maybe he was in detention for something that he thought was perfectly justified, but wasn't in fact, right? As far as like character development, maybe that's the way that she convinces him, you know, here, take this power coin and, you know, go take care of them Rangers.
Let me float an idea here that as I'm thinking, as you're saying that.
Bring it.
The Zeo Crystal. If I can talk tonight. I think she'd still be going after that. Okay?
Absolutely.
So I'm wondering if there's a way that she can manipulate Tommy to go after the Zeo Crystal for her. In a way, you know, like almost telling him that, you know, the Rangers are keeping this power for themselves and it should be democratized somehow. You know, it should be, you know, something that
trust me to democratize it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, get this for me, and we'll make this right, you know, type thing.
Right.
When you know that's definitely not her intentions, but Tommy might not know that.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm thinking as you're saying that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense because you think that, you know, that was still her ultimate goal. She wants that Zeo Crystal. And, you know, if you've got a character like Tommy, maybe because you have to think like what is the thing that gives Tommy a credible edge against the Rangers that makes him such a threat, right? Like there's got to be something about him or her that makes him a legitimate threat to them. So one thing I noticed in the original movie is that I think only Trini in that original movie had any kind of martial arts anything, right? Like you see her doing like a martial arts pose at the beginning of the movie. None of those characters had any kind of formal training before becoming Rangers. They were trained after they'd already became Rangers. And you get the impression that training was like, we're doing this quick, fast, and in a hurry. This is just the meat and potatoes of what you need to know.
They basically taught them like some counter moves, like some or shoulder throws.
Just some suplex.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much.
So like Tommy, you know, if you had Tommy as a character already have like a martial arts background, like, you know, like this kid, him or her is a certified badass. Like they're registered weapon level badass, you know, then you give that person the Ranger power, which of course, as we know in this movie, enhances strength and speed and all of that. You know, then at that point, the Green Ranger becomes a legitimate threat because he or she is already well trained. The Rangers are still trying to get their sea legs, as it were. You know, that would end up making it, I think, really juicy. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, I think that would definitely work. I mean, that might be that might tie in with the Letterman jacket. Mm-hmm. Or something of like something in his possessions. It might just be like, oh, for like the last school he was at, they had a like karate club or something, you know, that type of thing. I mean, other than that, I mean, I think, what was it in the originals? He was the delinquent versus the A+ kids. So it's like the delinquent knows how to fight over the A+ kids.
Maybe.
So,
you know, I mean, maybe like, I think that because you have to make the Green Ranger a credible threat, not just in the sense that maybe a 6th power coin has maybe a little more juice to it. I mean, that's not unheard of in Power Rangers lore, that the sixth Ranger is usually a little more powerful than the other 5.
Or Rita knows some way to like give it a little bit of a power boost, maybe.
Right. Yeah, maybe they use the Zeo Crystal to superpower the green power coin. You know, and I have to think that like obviously the power coins in these movies are meant to find people that are worthy, right? Like an Excalibur kind of thing. So clearly Rita at one point was worthy of this power, but what happens to that power when someone flips the switch there? You know, like what happens to that power? Does it get amped up because maybe it's like a dark side thing where it's quicker, faster, more seductive, and you know it appears more powerful on the surface? Maybe it's something like that. What do you guys think?
That's interesting. I mean, so she still has the green power coin, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I believe when they backhanded her, she was in the suit still.
Right. Okay. I almost wonder if like she has some type of power that's corrupted. Like, she's not really morphing. I don't know if maybe she's like not accessing the grid in the same way that the other Rangers are, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Because she does at one point kind of armor up, and she says this is her armor, but it's very clearly not like it doesn't look like a Power Ranger armor anymore. You know,
right?
So maybe she has some type of different way to access the grid, the power, and it's corrupted. You know, it's still strong, but it's corrupted. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, because with the green power coin, not to jump too far ahead, but in the mythos, the green power coin is subject to Rita's whims. Yeah. I mean, the green candle arc demonstrates that it can be drained. So I think that the idea that the power coin was in a corrupted source, comes from a corrupted source, I think that, that could mean bigger things later down the line. It could be consequential in terms of how long Tommy is actually the Green Ranger. So we go back to, finding a way to manipulate him against the other Rangers and then giving him this power. Then you have to think, okay, the Rangers themselves, they're probably resting on their laurels a little bit. They've dealt with Rita. They're not necessarily aware of any more existential cosmic threats. They're not necessarily expecting anything at this point in time, So I imagine if they were to, if they were to do that, like the dream scenario would be that the Green Ranger finds a way to draw them out and then just wrecks them initially. Like just stupid embarrasses them, like just to emphasize like the level of threat they are dealing with. Yeah. I'm not sure what the ideal scenario would be, but
yeah, definitely. Green Ranger has to kick their butt at some point. It's not very interesting if he doesn't. I mean, he really did in the series. He kind of to their limit, honestly. Not just in the Green with Evil, but then like you mentioned, the Candle arc.
Yeah.
So I mean, multiple times he kind of tested them that way. So I mean, it's not much of a threat if he's not kicking ass. So
exactly.
I almost wonder if this might be a cool, like a 2-part movie,
it could be.
Just totally decimates them at the end of the second movie, to pick it up in a third movie.
Yeah.
Make a
trilogy out of it. You very well could. That would actually be interesting, right? So, imagine if in their first encounter, he just embarrasses them in a ground fight, like just embarrasses them. Act of desperation, Rangers call up the Zords, right? And they think, all right, we got this. We have the Zords behind us. They don't necessarily need to make the Megazord, but they've got backup coming, right? Well, sure as Shinola, Tommy's got the Dragon Zord. And that's one of the things I think I am most upset about existentially is like we never got
Dragon Zord.
Right.
Yes, we never got to see what the Dragon Zord was going to look like. Like that was my favorite Zord, man. That thing was awesome, incarnate. Well, in steel, not really incarnate because it's not flesh. But like that, we never got to see what that looked like, and we never got to see what the Dragon Dagger would look like, right? Yep. Because like the Dragon Dagger is synonymous, man. Like and not only that, he's also got to be able to blow through the helmet. He can't just like lift the visor and have his actual mouth there. He's got to be able to pass air through that helmet to blow that flute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, full on camp. Yeah.
Oh God!
I mean, just a Scotia camp, just a soupçon of camp.
I don't know
in there.
about that because, like, with the original show, like all the helmets had the mouth, like the lip outline on the helmets.
Right.
These new ones don't have that.
Yeah, they do. They got lip outlines on them.
Did they have lip outlines?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, oh yeah, they did. Sure. Oh yeah, they did.
Let me see this.
Seriously, I guarantee you, I'm right. I guarantee you.
You probably are.
Hell yeah. And he needs to be able to pass air through that helmet. It has to make no sense. Give me just a soupçon of the original campiness,
Oh, son of a bitch, they did.
Imagine that though, man. Imagine we get the moment where, maybe we see the Dragon Dagger in that fight he has with him on the ground. But when they pull up the Zords, Just imagine whipping that out, and then you hear the same flute call, and then we get this massive monstrosity coming out of a lake or whatever, something, and it's the Dragon Zord, man. Like, that could have been so cool.
They'd have to use the same Godzilla roar thing.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
They'd have to use the same sound effect, I think.
Absolutely. If you're going to use the same flute, like, let's go with the same Dragon Zord sound effect, man.
And they had the theme song in the first movie, so I mean, they can have the flute and the other thing in the second movie.
Yes. They weren't afraid to drop that in there.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, of course.
In the theater, I was like 8 years old again. I was like, it's the song.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hell yeah, I was doing the same thing. I was like, wow, they did it. They went there. They busted out the theme song. But then I was like, they busted out the fucking theme song. Yeah. It was awesome, man. Yeah. So I mean, like, we could have gotten that. And then, of course, to further that along, if the Dragon Zord just makes mincemeat out of the Zords, even if they pull together the Megazord, even if they do that, and he just completely just smacks them around, like, think about that, man. That could have been so epic, you know? And you know what they should have done? They should have absolutely had a scene during that fight where the Green Ranger jumps into the Megazord and kicks all of them out of it. That was the most boss thing he ever did in the Green with Evil arc. He went into their house and kicked them out.
Yeah.
Didn't he have the Megazord at that point? Like, didn't he take it away from them or something? Or no, he got out of it and continued to kick their asses.
He just kicked him out. Yeah. He was just like, you're out of here. We're going back to the ground. Like, this fight is on my terms, you know? And then if you think about it, right? Maybe at the end of like, if we do this in a 2-parter, right? Part 1 is setting up, like, this is the bad stuff, right? Like, it's going to go sideways in this movie, right? You set up at the end of that movie, at the end of the second movie, that's when they figure out Tommy's the Green Ranger, right? And you pick up the third movie with now the Green Ranger knows their identities, and now maybe he's targeting family to get them out, to draw them out. Maybe he's not necessarily doing like a full-on bad guy, like, if you don't come rescue your dad, snicked. Maybe he's not doing that, but he's using them to draw them out, you know. And you keep building that tension. You keep building that suspense there with, like, how far is Tommy going to go? You know, at what point is Tommy being manipulated? And at what point is he choosing to do some fucked up shit in order to achieve this goal? You know, maybe you throw a little bit of, maybe the corruption of the power coin might be getting to him, you know? Maybe, like, the further down this path he goes, maybe he's
starts looking more like Rita.
Yeah. Yes. Kind of like the symbiote suit from Spider-Man, right? You know, like the longer Peter Parker uses this thing, the deeper he falls into it. Maybe you have that, because then that lends a little bit of weight in terms of the Rangers' need to save Tommy, right? It's, you know, maybe it's not about just defeating him. Now it's like, we have to save this guy, because the longer he does this, the further down the path he goes, the worse he's going to get until he becomes evil himself.
See, so that kind of makes me think of what if Rita uses the gold from I forget his name.
Goldar.
Yeah, Goldar. What if she uses like part of Goldar to corrupt the coin when she gives it to Tommy, and it's
maybe
slow, like the gold is corrupting him, slowly killing him. Maybe Goldar is like kind of shining through and taking over. Maybe,
because that does kind of. It goes with it does kind of harken back to the OG series a little bit. You know, it's a little tip of the hat in that kind of way. What do you think, Adam?
I think it's an interesting idea. I'm actually thinking, let's say that this is a 2-part sequel, so make a trilogy here. At the end of the second movie, I'm actually thinking that they're decimated, like power coins destroyed type thing.
Ooh.
So that's where we end at the second movie. And I keep going back to the Zero Crystal. I think that had to be there for a reason, you know?
Oh yeah.
I think there were plans for that beyond just calling it a Zero Crystal. So I'm thinking at the third movie, the Zero Crystal becomes key again. And this time it's to give them power back, you know? restore that power, kind of, harken back to the series. So
yeah, maybe you could use the Zeo Crystal as a way to actually repair the power coins to put them back together.
Right.
Or I mean, it might be a little too premature to go full Power Rangers Zeo, but you never know. You never know.
Even if you don't call it Zeo, even if it's like you said, a way to restore the power coins, or you get back into the grid or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a way to nod back to the original series without having to be exactly the same.
Right. And then that actually does present a really interesting challenge to the Ranger team itself, because if their power coins are completely fucking broken and they have no power, like not even their special abilities, like they're just regular old people. Again, Jason's got his bum knee, the whole thing. That makes their challenge of getting to the Zeo Crystal even that much more difficult, because now, I mean, Tommy and Rita, they basically have carte blanche. They have the Zeo Crystals theirs. How do you go up against a super powered Green Ranger and Rita when you have no powers? Like, that's a really interesting concept. I like that.
Let me ask you this. They toyed around in the first movie with the idea of death, Billy dying. Do you think that all 5 of them make it out of this movie sequels?
See, I thought about that, right? Because is there a way you could set up Rocky, Adam, and Aisha?
Yeah.
Is there a way you can set that up? And I think the most dramatic way to set that up is to kill off Zach and Jason and Trini. Honestly.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that gives it any kind of emotional weight, right?
Right.
Like, but then, that actually opens up a really interesting concept, because what if you have a side plot in the third movie, and that is Rocky, Aisha, and Adam. Somehow they are intertwining themselves with the Ranger team through happenstance or fate, whatever you want to call it. And, maybe in some way, shape, or form, they're actually assisting the Rangers, because at this point, maybe it's not a big deal for them to reveal their identity to someone if they don't have any power. Right. Oh, yeah. And then maybe in some kind of way, Rocky, Adam, and Aisha ingratiate themselves with the team, or involve themselves with the team at such a point where they're like, well, we're the Power Rangers and we need your help to do this thing. We have to get this Zeo Crystal. Maybe that's a good way to weave them into it as like a side story.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see Zach being, maybe one to sacrifice himself for something. Let's say that his mom, does pass away. That was a major plot point for him.
Yep.
Maybe it's getting kind of dark, but maybe. I was going to say, like, he has nothing left to live for, but maybe that's not the case. Maybe he comes across some type of situation where he can sacrifice himself for the good of the team, and he chooses to do that. I could see that happening, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that does make some sense. Like, if you I think if you really wanted to be, shock value, you could take one of the Rangers and just in battle they die. Or even if you really wanted to go full tilt with it, if you have a scene like where Tommy snaps Trini's neck, like if you wanted to go full tilt with it, to give Tommy something to really struggle with once he is redeemed, he has to now make peace with all the bad stuff he knew he decided to do. He chose to do these things. Yes, he was manipulated. He was coerced, but he still made the choice to do something like that. So if you had something like that, that would make sense. I don't know why I chose Trini. Maybe it's Jason. Maybe he's duking it out with Jason and he just snaps his neck. Like, he kills the leader of the Power Rangers. That is something that could be really juicy in terms of drama. I don't know if that's a little too like dark for the target audience.
I don't know. That was one weird thing with this movie. Like, the target audience, I don't know, like, what the actual target audience was. Like, what was the age for this movie? I mean, it's almost us.
No way, yeah, because like,
go ahead. All right.
Go ahead.
Well, no, because I was about to say, like, I'm 4 months older than Power Rangers. I mean, it was. I feel like it was targeted us because you do have Rita running around stealing gold and killing people for it. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. Don't they have like a couple of bodies where she like ripped out all the gold teeth and stuff like that? I mean, it wasn't really kiddie material.
And may I add,
on the floor, in some parts of her.
Yeah, absolutely. And may I add, the first 2 minutes of that movie, they make a jerk off joke. They made a joke about a kid jerking off a cow.
That's true,
right? Like that was the first 2 minutes. So maybe you could push it, and you could have Tommy kill Jason or Trini, or both. Maybe he kills both of them.
I mean, that was a PG-13 movie. You can do some stuff in PG-13. I mean, it's I don't think anything was
what fuck.
Yeah, I don't think anything that we're talking about is too dark for PG-13.
No.
And then and then my issue. I mean, granted, it's a kid's show, right? That's the whole premise. With the original Green with Evil arc, once Tommy's spell is broken, it's like, yeah, no harm, no foul. Yeah, you destroyed a couple buildings. People likely died, but yeah, you're good. No worries. And then like the general public of Angel Grove, one day they're watching the Dragon Zord tear through buildings. The next day they're like, oh, he's good now. Everything's fine. We're all cool. Right? So like if you do a Green with Evil arc in the films and you're adding that gravitas to it, like Tommy has to struggle with some of the decisions he's made. And he has to have a purpose. He has to have a reason to redeem himself. He has to have that chip on his shoulder that makes him the leader of the Power Rangers that he will ultimately be. And it has to be through the things that he has done. So if you go full tilt where, yeah, maybe he's targeted their family for some reasons, and that's one step he takes, and then he takes another step, and the final step he takes is maybe Zach dies trying to save Trini. Tommy kills her anyway, and then he kills Jason. Maybe you do something that extreme that, when he finally does have the moment where the turning point hits and he realizes that Rita's been manipulating him and there's something wrong with the power coin that's turning him this way that he has to internally overcome. Then as you move the franchise forward, he's got demons to deal with. And I think we've established that I like torture porn in that respect, where I like my main characters to have some demons, man. I want to see them go through some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that was one thing I loved about this movie in general, is his main characters all had something that was antagonizing them. It was kind of a unique take on it. It gave them way more depth than I was expecting to have in a movie like that. But
right,
I'm with you. I'm right with you on that.
I mean, even Zordon had depth in that movie, right? Even he was struggling with something.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick because, like, I mean, think about it. You'd be kind of grumpy too if you were stuck in a fucking ship, man. Like, you went from being the Red Ranger to a floating face.
I mean, honestly, I might be more excited to be the floating face.
That says more about you than it does about Zordon. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, good Lord, you're damaged goods, aren't you, pal?
Like, world's in danger. I don't want to be the Red Ranger.
Yeah, right.
Floating face that tells the Red Ranger what to fucking do.
Right. That's the thing. Like, what do you do is, I think that going back to like Tommy crushing the powers and all that stuff, he's got to kill Zordon too. He's got to take Zordon out.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he does it in the Green with Evil arc. He banishes Zordon to he's got to take him out. Like the Rangers have to be essentially rudderless. Like they've got to be in it. Yeah, exactly.
Almost took him out. Yeah.
Oh, we can bring Ivan Ooze in.
Honestly, that was honestly the point I was waiting for this entire discussion. I was like, right. Oh, Ivan Ooze, yes. That was such a good movie. I still watch it. I have a DVD copy. Yeah. I watch it. Oh, I love it.
God, the acting is so awful, though.
Yes, but I mean that was for the 90s.
Yeah, no, but it's orders of magnitude bad. Like
take another crack at it.
Yeah. Like no, Jason David Frank, the guy who plays the Green Ranger, bless his heart, he's a good guy, he's a good dude. But but God, his acting is so like everything is like he's always like 10% more excited for something than he should be at all times, right?
Yeah.
And like every line he ends it with "man." Like I guarantee you that "man" is not scripted. That's just him ad-libbing that in at everything.
Probably. In some weird way that makes me love him more though.
Exactly. Like, and he's consistent every time he's come back. It's the same level of acting. It's like this guy has done everything in his power not to attend an acting class ever. Like, I love it. He's like, I know what I'm good at, and that's what I do.
I love it. I wonder if there's any way, and I don't know, I don't think it would fit in this movie, but maybe the other reboot, if we see him come back in some way. I'm thinking of the comic run that they did a little while ago. And I'm kind of blanking on the character's name. Is it Lord Dracon?
Yeah, like Draken or something like that.
Draken, yeah.
Oh, that could be sweet.
If he would come back and do that, I would fall over with.
Okay.
With excitement.
Okay. You're making the brain pan sizzle over here. Okay. All right. So third movie ends. Clearly, we've redeemed the Green Ranger. The now repaired by some method, probably engineered by Billy, has repaired the power coins, and they have chosen their new keepers, Rocky, Aisha, and Adam. So you got movie 3. You've got 3 new members of the team. Tommy's still the Green Ranger, right? Now we're bringing in Zed or Ivan Ooze, whichever one floats everyone's boat, right?
Yeah.
Going with the Green Ranger, some shit's going fucky with that power coin. Like his powers are maybe inconsistent. Like, you know, he's having some glitches, shall we say? We'll call them glitches.
Well,
right?
we're even in the originals, when he first joined the Power Rangers, I think one of the problems he had was controlling the Dragon Zord, wasn't it?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was weird because his power, like he could only. It was almost like that's how they had to write it, so that he could kind of take a break every once in a while or something.
Right.
Because it was written in a way that he was like, his coin wasn't always at full power or something like that.
Right.
You know, where he, the coin would deplete itself after so long, and
right. Like they did the green candle arc, and he had to pass the coin to Jason so the green power could be maintained and survive. And then, of course, there was that arc where Goldar got the Rangers he kidnapped their parents, got the Rangers to surrender their power coins, and they had no choice but to bring Tommy back to get their power coins, right? But like that worked for the series. I think with this, the idea that's in my head is like with his power coin specifically, because it was corrupted, because it was held by a corrupted force, it's decaying, right? Like something about being inherently evil is just not, it doesn't mesh with the morphing grid. It doesn't mesh with this power. And the longer that coin is under that influence, the quicker it's going to degrade and it's going to start to diminish, right? It's going to lose its power. You know, what do you do with this guy who has assumed the leadership position of the Power Rangers? He's got 3 new Rangers that he's trying to get them ready, get them prepared. Billy and Kimberly are obviously still probably dealing with grief, right? And his powers are fading, right? Zordon's gone. All they've got is Alpha, who is adorable. Bill Hader, you are a genius. You know, that's already kind of setting off this movie on an urgent footing, I would say.
It's fair.
Yeah.
And then, you know, okay, so we have our choice of threats, really. We have our choices of threats. I personally gravitate towards Lord Zed. I love his design. You know, I mean, the dude just had an awesome design.
Yeah.
But I mean, who's to say you couldn't throw in a guy like Ivan Ooze in there? Like, why not tip the hat?
Well, I mean, and Ivan Ooze, I remember Ivan Ooze was a villain that had like a personal vendetta against Zordon, wasn't it?
Right.
Like him and Zordon, like to some effect, knew each other to the point where, the Rangers were out fighting, and Ivan snuck into their base and like used some kind of flute and just destroyed everything, including like I believe the like essentially in this case the wall that contained Zordon.
Yeah, the containment center. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, maybe you take a similar angle in the sense that Ivan Ooze has a vendetta with all Ranger teams, right? Because I think the original movie did a good job at hinting is like there's other Ranger teams out there, right? Like this is a galactic or universal force that's out there. So maybe Ivan Ooze and Zed are working together and they're moving from planet to planet, taking out Ranger teams, and these are the next ones.
Yeah.
Well,
now in the original series was Rita originally
like a Galactus type thing?
Yeah. Like,
what's up?
Go ahead, Brad.
Was in the original series, was Rita originally a Ranger?
No, she was just an evil space witch.
Yeah, so I mean, you could definitely play that angle with Ivan Ooze of like eliminating all the Rangers, because I mean, but you would I don't know if you'd almost have to keep Rita away from Ooze at that point, like she wouldn't really be involved.
Well, honestly, at this point, I see Rita as dead.
That's true.
Like at the end of that first trilogy, I mean, one of Tommy's ways of rectifying that whole situation is to take Rita out.
I mean,
he's already got blood on his hands.
Lord Zed.
Yeah. I mean, Tommy's got blood on his hands at that point. In our universe, he's got blood on his hands. So why not? What's one more?
But we're a little bit more than whoever made this movie.
Just a bit.
I'm a little upset. I'm not going to get a on-screen Zed and Rita wedding, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was just weird. And Zed's a terrible husband, right? Obviously, Rita she's afflicted with migraines, and he never once offers her an Excedrin. Never once.
Zed's getting canceled in 2020 for sure.
Yeah, he's not chivalrous at all. So if you bring in this threat of you got Lord Zed and you got Ivan Ooze, and they're targeting Ranger teams across the galaxy, and like you guys are next, you've got 3 newbies, 2 people, hit with grief, and then you got a Green Ranger whose powers are unreliable at best. At this point, this is where I struggle with it, right? In terms of like thinking about this, what's the entity that comes in to save them? What's the entity that replaces the Zordon, right? And that's the thing that I can't really nail down.
Well, you might not have to replace the Zordon per se, but I mean, maybe it's almost might be like a crunch time for Tommy to just kind of like his powers are unreliable, but he's got 5 other Rangers that he can make reliable,
right?
Or wait, didn't they bring someone back from the dead at some point? It was the White Ranger or something. I forget.
No,
that was
series. No,
I'm thinking of a different one then. It all messes together. I mean, or you might have, it might be something with like Zordon, like the passing of Zordon, like in some way contributes to Tommy getting more reliable powers. Or
so this is what I was thinking about with Tommy and his powers, right? Say you got a scenario like the green power coin is just degrading. It's literally degrading. It's losing its power. They've got to find a way, because I mean, obviously, I'm hinting at the White Ranger, right? Like, I mean, this is not a secret. They've got to find a way to not only, I would say, purify that power coin, but charge it to the point where it does have power, right? Again, I think like this is a good place where the Zeo crystal comes into play. The Zeo crystal is clearly linked to the morphing grid and the power that they have, right? So if you find a scenario, you science the shit out of it, as it were, where all the Rangers direct their power coin energy at the green power coin to purify it, the Zeo crystal charges it, boom, you got the White Ranger, right? And that's obviously the solution to Tommy's little conundrum. But how you set that up, that in a dramatic fashion, you make it to where like it's imperative that they do this. Like there's got to be some kind of mega existential level threat that's causing them to think like, okay, we got to figure this situation out. Tommy needs powers, that's the thing that I struggle with setting it up. Like the meat of the outline is there. It's just filling in those little blanks. That's meh.
Well, that could kind of be where, I mean, if you do one movie with Lord Zed, then that can be the second part where you bring in Ivan Ooze.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other way around, depending on how you want to do it. I'm trying to think of the other bosses that they had, honestly.
Not the pumpkin wrapper.
No.
Not that guy.
Dear God, no. Yes.
Or Pudgy Pig. You know what? Fuck it. Bring Pudgy Pig. Make it Pudgy Pig. He's going to eat all the world's food. That's your existential threat for the fourth movie. There's your existential threat for the fourth movie.
World hunger gets worse.
Yeah. What other awful monsters did they have? What other ones?
I mean, at some point,
there was a sports one, wasn't there?
A what one?
Man, there was like a football one, and I can't think of it. Yeah.
At some point, like episodes literally just got like where you would have like the bulk of the episode be their personal life, and then like Rita and Zed would just like pull some random ass monster out of thin air, throw it to Earth, and be like, "Monster, grow!" I mean,
yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, it was real quick.
Yeah,
and like in the general.
Do you remember?
Oh yes, God! It's like there's literally a dude made of eyes.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
I love how
I remember I had the Snizzard action.
Yes, the Snizzard.
Yeah.
Dude, I love how like the general citizenry of Angel Grove just took everything as a matter of course. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, well, it's Wednesday and it's nearly 3 p.m. Everyone get out of downtown. Monsters are coming. Come on, let's go.
Yeah,
like people hanging out in the park, just trying to have a picnic, and a troop of putties runs by, and some teenagers are fighting them. It's like, well, it must be Thursday in Angel Grove. Shit. Why? I mean, I would just hope that Ernie has an incredible insurance policy. He's got to have putty insurance, monster insurance. Like he's got to be prepared.
Yeah. Not a great place to open up a juice bar in Southern California.
It almost closed down one episode. I remember that. Yeah, apparently in one episode, the Ranger team solved his financial woes.
In just one episode.
Yeah. And I watched that episode and I was like, man, how'd you get into that place in the first place, Ernie? Huh? What's wrong with your books? Why do you suck so bad at business? Hope his smoothies are better than his business judgment. Anyway, we digressed far from our original point.
Well, original point too, somewhat.
Yeah, we did all right.
So, I mean, like clearly around the fourth movie, that's when you bust out the White Ranger. That's when you bust it out. Yeah. But I honestly think I struggle with like figuring out what's the dramatic impetus for them to do that, because I'm just not that clever. Like I'm just not that smart, man.
I'm not saying there's a reason we're not paid to think of this shit.
Right. And of course, like you would also have to have with the White Ranger, you got to bring the Thunderzords in, right? Like you gotta,
yeah,
you've got to bring the Thunderzords in, So I mean, obviously, if you set up something like Ivan Ooze or Zed destroyed the Zords, okay, well, all the Zords are gone, and we only have 5 Rangers with no Zords, and our leaders' powers are on the fritz. Maybe that's the impetus, man. Maybe that's what it is. And then you with the creation of the White Ranger, maybe they find a way to use Zeo power to reform the Zords, because obviously the Zords are morphic, right? There's some kind of entity that adapts and morphs into things that are represented in its environment, right?
Yeah.
Although I don't know how you get a unicorn or a griffin in that environment. I'm not sure how you do that, right? There's not really unicorns running around, are there?
If the Zord was already morphed into a lion, and then it saw eagle.
Maybe. Yeah, that's how you get your Thunder Zords. They're just confused.
Yeah.
They're just confused.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But I would kill to see the White Tiger Zord on screen.
Oh, man.
That's fair.
I mean, that moment from the original series, the White Tiger, the White Light two-parter, when he busts out the Tiger Zord, like, yeah, like that's what you get so stoked you start Bobby Knighting chairs around the place, man. Like that's what you do. I mean, come on.
Just Rob Van Dam the kick something.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Like, because in the '90s when I was a kid, I don't remember. I might be wrong, but when Halloween came around, you had the red, blue, pink, yellow, Black Ranger costumes.
Everyone was Power
You
Ranger.
had those, but I don't remember a Green Ranger costume from the '90s. I don't remember one. I remember a White Ranger costume. I remember that because there's a picture of me wearing it, not on Halloween. This was probably in the spring at some point. This was just something I wore around the house, like a power blanket, like a power safety blanket. But I don't remember them having a Green Ranger costume, right?
No, I don't remember that either. Come to think.
Which
I'm trying
sucks.
to think.
I feel like we got robbed.
No one wanted to be the Green Ranger because he was a dick.
Well, no, man. Everyone wanted to be the Green Ranger. Everybody wanted to be the Green Ranger. He had the badass shield. None of the other guys had shields.
Yep.
Although I will say that, dude, the OG series, when it was the American Green Ranger costume with that like poofy weird shield, that thing sucked.
Yeah.
That was
wasn't
awful. It was awful.
It's pretty bad.
Why couldn't they just get the one from the Japanese show? Like that couldn't have been crated up and shipped on over.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
It looked like a dollar store imitation.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It probably was.
See, that's the thing. Like with the Green Ranger and the White Ranger costumes, is like, what would they have possibly looked like designed for these movies, man? What would they have possibly looked like?
Unfortunately, we'll never know.
Oh, I know, Brad. Why do you have to remind me, dude? That was. We got gypped on so much, man.
We did, and again, I understand. Like, it didn't do as well as they wanted it to, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, there are other movies that it doesn't even like break even in the box office, but they still make a fucking sequel out of it.
Okay, let's think of a couple examples of that. Because I want to really Aragon.
The Last Airbender.
They did a sequel to that Percy Jackson movie. They did that.
The first one was horrible as well.
There's 3 Taken movies with Liam Neeson.
Yeah. And like arguably only the first one was good. Really.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Only the first Taken was any good. The second two, like if you're going to make a sequel to an action movie, you've got to really lean into it. I mean, I'm talking the sequel to Die Hard. I'm talking Terminator 2. Like you got to lean into that stuff. You can't milk toast your way through it. Taken 2 and 3.
Well, I'm about to say, anytime I'm feeling vindictive, I always watch Taken 1 and Man on Fire. Because there's some fucked up shit in both of those movies.
That terrifies me about you. That's your go-to when you're in a fucked up mood. You don't want anything feel good. Like, no, I want to see like vengeance on screen acted out because that's what vengeance. That's disturbing.
My favorite part of Man on Fire is when he puts C4 up that dude's butt. It's the best part ever.
Wow. You're a terrifying individual, Brad. You're a terrifying individual.
Thank you.
Like when I'm in the pits and I want to feel good, like I'll watch something from the 90s, like a cartoon or something. Like you're like, no, I want to see those skulls get broken.
It was candy to me when Punisher came out on Netflix.
Say that again?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was making a joke about C4 up a guy's ass.
Well, I mean, if you're going to put some plastic explosives anywhere, put them up the butt.
Yeah.
Right? Give them the old proctology. There you go. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I think about the fact that like that we were robbed of so much for no damn reason, right? And it's maybe it was the time, right? Because like in 2017, it wasn't necessarily uncharted territory for studios to be like, Yeah, well, no, that didn't. It wasn't the big home run that we thought it was going to be. Back out. We're going to cut our losses, right? I mean, around that time, that was happening to a lot of things, and I think, of course, 2017 was not the greatest time to release a movie. Again, Infinity War came out like a few months after the Power Rangers movie. Not the best time. So I can't help but think that if they released it maybe sooner or maybe held on to it until 2018, maybe that would have been something different. I don't know. But I try to be hopeful about this reboot. But it's always tinged with a bit of disappointment because, like, man, that cast was brilliant. The writing was good. It was executed well. Like, this had every reason to be sequelized. Every reason. And those cowards at Lionsgate did not do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I honestly, I wholeheartedly expected to get a sequel until, like, news came out. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. And I was like, what? Why? It's like, that was a damn good movie.
Yeah.
There were talks for a while about, what they were doing for a sequel, and then it just,
stopped.
Yeah, for a number of years. Well, if you guys ever want to pick it up, just watch the show, right? Watch us. We got tons of ideas for you. We even found a way for you to bring Ivan back. So you're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know. What they should have at least done a sequel, so the guys who played Bulk and Skull could have gotten a cameo.
Yeah,
in the very least. That way, those two could get their props.
Bulk and Skull.
Those guys were the real MVPs of that show.
They got shit on a lot. I remember that.
Yeah, that's why they're the MVPs, man. Every show, a cake was falling on them. Yeah,
they stuck around for years.
Mm-hmm. Well,
the entire cast turned over, and Bulk and Skull were still there.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm actually rewatching the series, and I'm in season 2 right now, but I'm at the point right before the power transfer. And I've noticed that in this point in the season, whenever the Red Ranger is morphed, it's not what's his nuts, Austin St. John. It's not him that does the voiceover stuff. It's someone else. Yeah. And the same with Trini. Yeah. It's something that I just picked up on. I was listening to it, and I was like, wait, that's not that dude's voice. It's someone what's the word that just flew out of my brain that is not there for me? Yeah, that one. Imitating him. It's a pale imitation of him, but I'm like, wow. And I'm not really super aware of the behind the scenes drama, but in my head, I'm like, oh, that's because he already fucked off, right? He was done.
Probably.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. There is some drama behind the scenes.
There was. They had to get some stand-ins, I know, for David Yost towards the end of his stuff, where he was gone, and they had to bring in some stand-ins for him. But so I wouldn't put it past them to have a voiceover for Austin St. John. Yeah,
I mean, and that's kind of the cool thing about the cast from the movie, man, is they gelled so well together. That was just excellent chemistry from that cast. And that's another big disappointment, is because when you have a cast like that has that kind of chemistry, man, it doesn't happen that often, Right. It's a subtle art of casting, is not just casting the right person for that role, but casting that person because they play off with these others well. And then sometimes it's just a roll of the dice. You cast these people and you hope that they have some kind of magic in them to make it work, especially with ensemble films, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I've been thinking about this, though. Who's the dream cast for Tommy? Who's the person that probably should have been cast to play Tommy? Understand that I'm also wholly unprepared for this question. I have no good answer.
No, neither do I, honestly. For Tommy
Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones.
I don't think so.
He's young enough.
That's a reach. Man.
Yeah.
Christian Bale. Matt Damon. I'm just throwing people out now. Tom Hanks. Bring Tom Hanks in.
Oh god.
Every movie is made better with Tom Hanks.
What about like a Zac Efron? I don't know.
He is no. You know what? I'm going to say no to that because no man should look that good. No man should look that good.
Fair.
Like he is an affront. He is an affront to all average dudes everywhere. Like that's the injustice, man. We live on the same planet that dude lives on. Like,
well, and I always love the jokes that get told on like Bad Neighbors. It's like, dude, your waistline looks like an arrow pointing down to your dick.
It's true.
It's like, yeah, it kind of is.
Like, he's incredibly good looking. He's wealthy. He's got a show on Netflix. Like, this is bullshit, man. Like, I hope he's got like anal warts. I hope like if there's any justice in the world, he needs like an incredible amount of salves and creams just to maintain. Like if there's any justice.
Jesus.
Just like I said, if there's any justice in the world, Jason Momoa has a micro penis. If there's any justice.
I don't think so. Never mind.
It's fucked up to live in a world with people that good looking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But we have a podcast. That's
true. And you know what? While we have a podcast, there are people in Hollywood that exist, like Ron Howard's brother. He is haunting to look at, and he is wildly successful. So there's hope for all of us.
there's hope.
Yes. So I don't know who could have. I'm trying to think of any kind of media I've seen lately that I thought like someone could pull that off. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's hard to say because we really don't know exactly how the Green Ranger was supposed to be.
It could have been a female, which would have been an interesting take.
I think it would have been a female.
That would have been an interesting take, honestly. Honestly, I would have appreciated that.
Can you appreciate that, Ranger?
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing that would conflict with that. There's no reason why that couldn't be a thing, right? Sure. No.
What's up, Cam?
Oh. Do we have comments in the section? Maybe we should do that. Maybe as we bring this bird in for a landing, maybe we can like answer questions from the comments. How many people are watching right now?
We got 6 right now.
Hi, all 6 of you. Smash that like button and that subscribe button, I guess. Isn't that what people say on the YouTube?
Something like that.
Like, Hulk, smash that like button, brah. hit subscribe and ring the bell. Make sure you're notified when we're going live.
Said that in a while, Kevin.
I don't know. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not talented in any way, shape, or form. And I'm terrible at self-promotion. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I'm like, my idea of like of networking and getting the podcast out there is like, I don't know, listen to my show or something. Like, and if you don't, that's cool too. Whatever. Like, even like our merchandise, I'm horrible at hawking that. I'm just like, yeah, we have it. It's there.
If you want to buy it, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's all right if you don't want it. It's okay, but it's like it's there. I'm terrible at that shit. I'm awful.
He really is.
So if you guys are watching and you have any questions, comments, throw them up, and we can maybe close this out with some fun. Because I honestly think we've run out of ideas for these films.
Well, I mean, we've brought up like all the shitty B-list villains that they could.
Once we got the Eye Guy, I think we were done.
Yeah. And we gave you guys 3 full sequels. We gave you guys 3 full sequels.
We're in
greedy bitches
here, so
yeah, greedy bitches.
What more do you want?
Yeah.
So Cam just crushed the life out of that like button.
Right away, Cam. Yeah. I mean, like, come on. We did get 4 movies out of this, and we made the Green Ranger murk people.
Yeah, so, like we took some dark shit.
Yeah, there's your contribution to the lore there. There's our contribution there. The Green Ranger.
Tommy just
snapped people.
The dragon dagger just stabbed people in the neck.
Yeah. Well, have you guys have seen that fan made Power Rangers film, right? That's on YouTube.
No, I have not.
Talking about that. It's dark, man. It's dark.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dark, dude.
Oh,
yeah, it's like in a future, and
Yeah.
I forget exactly how it goes, but someone's hunting down the Rangers and they're like picking them off one by one.
Oh shit.
Yep. Yeah, I won't spoil it for you, Brad. I won't spoil it for you.
See, Pizza and Park Sex. I want your version of the Green Ranger.
We want it too, man. We want it too. Like, I know there's only like 6 people watching us, but if like people view this later, if you have any line to the people at Lionsgate, like any kind of email, give it to me, because then they're gonna have like thousands of ideas in their inbox. Yeah. Cam is starting the pineapple pizza debate in our chat.
Oh no!
Oh goodness!
Here we go, Cam. Here we go.
Oh goodness! Oh goodness! Oh, he's a savage, man. He's a savage. Like any chance he gets, he's gonna throw it in there.
For pineapple pizza or against pineapple pizza?
He is vehemently against it, I imagine. Yes.
Good man. Pineapple does not go on fucking pizza.
Oh God, great! It's now in this whole thing has now infected our live stream. Well done, Cam.
I went down this rabbit hole.
Your wife is asking if she can turn the Wi-Fi back on.
Not yet. Tell her not yet.
All right. Not yet.
Fuck, marry, kill. Fuck, marry, kill. Power Ranger edition. Yes. Yes, we are doing this. Fuck, marry, kill. Power Rangers edition. Okay. Brad, go first.
Oh shit. Fuck
yeah.
I'm going to kill Lord Zed. Have to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to fuck the Yellow Ranger.
Okay.
Marry the Pink Ranger. The original one, that little Asian girl.
Yeah. Trini.
There you go. And then marry the Pink Ranger. The original.
Okay.
The blonde. I forget her name.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Adam, I'm sorry that we're debasing you to this level to where you're coming onto a show and now you have to play fuck, marry, kill. We're experts at lowering the bar.
No, I'm having a blast. Like, I think Mary has to be Kimberly.
Okay.
Killed Ninjor.
Ninjor.
I hate Ninja. That voice. I don't think did we ever get your joke about that?
Oh no. Yeah, you had the most robust, like badass looking character that they've had in a long time, and you made him sound like this. Like, so fucking stupid. Like whoever made that decision in the audio booth, like should have been kneecapped immediately.
That nasal voice, I can't handle it.
Oh, God, awful.
Okay, so Kimberly, Ninjor, and then fuck. I already used Kimberly. Let's go with Cat, I guess. All
right. Okay, so I'm gonna try to see if I can. I'm gonna have to be very careful here. If I'm
talking,
your
wife's in the stream, so
yeah, she is. She's watching. So, dear, disclaimer, honey, this is all in good fun. Okay, so if I'm going based on my 5-year-old crush, fuck Kimberly, because I mean, I think every dude should bang one woman in his lifetime that's way out of his league.
Kimberly.
Yeah, of course, right? I'm going to kill. Who do I find particularly grating on that show? Oh boy. That's the thing. I have to like top Ninjor, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do.
For me, if there's one, I mean, I'll give you a freebie here. If there's one that topped Ninjor, it was that skeleton dude, and I can't remember.
Rito.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would kill him in a heartbeat. Okay, I'm taking it. I'm going to kill Rito. Now, who am I going to marry?
See, real quick before you pick, I'm going to change my Mary to Alpha 5 because that is the most helpful little bastard ever.
True.
And
true.
I need someone to clean up after me. So I
don't know, man. Mary. Let's see here. You know what? Hold on.
I think Pizza and Parsecs agreed with my original Mary or Kimberly at least. Longevity.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I honestly, what my brain is telling me, marry the person that probably has the best access to cannabis. I can't fucking figure out who that is, man.
Tommy. I'd say Tommy.
You know what? Yeah.
Because he's the delinquent.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going with Tommy. I'm going to marry Tommy.
You're gonna marry Tommy.
Marry Tommy, because then we're gonna grow some beautiful plants together. That's what we're gonna do.
I mean, but you want to catch him when he's the Green Ranger.
Yeah, we're gonna have a sustainable weed farm in Colorado or some other legal state.
No love for Skull and Bones from Pizza and Parsecs.
Oh man, Bulk and Skull, dude. Like going back to the 1995 movie. This is the funny thing about that movie. The best acting performances in that movie are either Bulk and Skull or Ivan Ooze. It's literally a toss-up. Because like Bulk and Skull had the easiest job of all. Just like do the same thing that you get paid to do on the other thing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. And they don't have to try. They didn't have to try too hard. It was brilliant. That's the love for Bulk and Skull. All right. Any other comments? Anyone
else got any good questions to give us another half hour?
Another half hour? Holy fuck, dude.
More or less. Well, 20 minutes. I'll say 20 minutes.
I'll give it 10 more minutes. Let's do 10 more minutes. We can get some comments in. Let's get some about 10 more minutes worth of comments in here, and then we'll bring this bird in for a landing.
Yeah, we got John Villers is in with us.
Nice. John, his name is?
Yes.
Welcome, John. Sorry, it's like near the tail end of it, but you still got here.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing's on YouTube anyway, so you get it.
Yes, that's true. That's true. After we're done here, you'll be able to watch it at your leisure, and then, of course, it comes out in the audio format later.
Yes.
So while we're waiting for any of the last comments before we wrap this up, I'm going to take a minute just to do some quick plugs. I want to plug the Red 5 Network. You guys saunter your way over to red5network.com. There you will find a whole litany of awesome podcasts and pod people, including Adam's show From a Certain Point of View. It's just chock full of any kind. Like, it's not even just Star Wars. There's a bunch of Star Wars content, but a lot of these shows, man, like they dive into some interesting IP, kind of like what we're doing here. And if you've got, there's something there for everyone's sensibilities. Everything from the insightful musings of From a Certain Point of View, everything to playing Fuck, Marry, Kill with the Force Losers. Apparently, it runs the gamut.
So we got John Villers. What did you think about Bulk and Skull meeting later?
Was that something that happened in the movie?
Was it? I think it was, honestly. That sounds right.
I know they had a bully in that film, which was like the prototypical. But I mean, you could probably find a way to integrate Bulk and Skull into that franchise very easily. I mean, what form and function they would serve, who knows? Met in Samar. I'm not familiar, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not familiar. I wish I could answer that question, honestly. Skull was rich. This guy's coming up with his own plot here. It's kind of cool. Skull was wealthy in Samar. Did he have like a manservant that was like a little on the hefty side, and that was Bulk?
That'd have been funny.
What if the dynamic was
switched? He's talking about a different series, Samurai.
Oh, and Samurai. Oh, I'm not familiar with that one, honestly.
I'm not either.
I wish I was.
I'm about to say I stopped watching shortly after Mighty Morphin.
So Cam asked, "I've never watched Power Rangers. Why should I?" Okay.
In one paragraph or less.
In one paragraph or less. Okay. if you're into campy acting performances and ridiculous premises and foam and latex monsters with spandex
and roundhouse kicks that cause explosions.
And like, honestly, and I'm going to say this in not a tongue-in-cheek way. Honestly, some of the choreography of those fight scenes from the original series are fucking awesome. Like, they're fucking awesome. If you're into, any of the early 90s ninja craze, that was all the thing from like the 80s and 90s. Everyone wanted to be a martial artist and ninja. Power Rangers is just another offshoot of that. That's all it is. And if you want to see some of the most 90s things ever, like outfits, and in like segue music and effects, like if you want to feel what it was like to live in that era again, they had what?
Walkmans?
I know they had a bunch of different.
I'm
90s
pretty sure they had Walkmans on that show at some point.
Or at least CD players.
Oh yeah. So I mean, yeah, if you just feel like immersing yourself in an era, that's a pretty good encapsulation of that era.
Yeah. These Power Rangers with kid entertainment. Top tier kid entertainment back then.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's good. I know Cam's a dad. It's good to watch with the kids too, if they're looking for something action.
True. So Leslie asked, Power Rangers forced into a death match. Who wins? Are we talking originals? We'll go with originals. We'll just assume.
I was about to say the whole conversation's around originals, more or less.
So forced into a death match. Who wins?
I would honestly, Red Ranger is always supposed to be the leader, the best trained, more or less. I mean, he's supposed to at least keep everything going. That's kind of like the whole, like he's supposed to be the de facto leader.
Yeah. What do you think, Adam?
I mean, my heart wants to say the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
Mine too. My brain's going to say Billy. I think he'd outsmart someone.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm going to go with the dark horse here that no one suspects. Pink Ranger. Ranger. She has the distance weapon. She literally has the distance weapon.
Sniping him off.
Exactly. She could Rambo the fuck out of him, just like, boom, done.
Just clicking heads.
So, yeah, that's my pick. Better than Voltron, Captain Planet, or the Planeteers? Cam, in my opinion,
Voltron. Way better than Captain Planet, though.
Yeah, I mean, I dig the message of Captain Planet, but they didn't have karate kicks and shit, and they didn't have they didn't have elements of like kaiju films in them either, and that's what the Zord fights were. Did you guys, John Villers asked, did you guys watch any of the Super Sentai? No, actually, I have not gone back into like the original source material for it, although I'm curious. I'm very curious to check it out, to see, because obviously the original series was like a hodgepodge of the Super Sentai footage and the stuff that they shot here, and it was kind of melded together in a way that was imperceptible to children, but as you get older, it's like, oh, wow, they really chopped this thing together, didn't they? So, I mean, I've been curious about it. What about you guys? Have you watched any of the Super Sentai?
Nope.
I have not.
I'd be curious to check it out. So, as far as my answer is it better than Voltron and Captain Planet? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Cam's saying he'll check it out.
Good man.
And John is recommending the Super Sentai.
I'm going to check that out, man. I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to dig into that.
I'll tell Cam just to start with Green with Evil. Watch that 5. Just go there.
Actually, it's a good.
That's like epitome Power Rangers, I think, right there.
Yeah, let's give Cam some recommendations, right? Green with Evil, absolutely. Pretty much any of the arcs that center around Tommy either losing or gaining his powers.
The White Ranger arc is a good.
Yep, White Light.
Yep.
You
mentioned the Green Candle earlier.
Yep. What else? I mean, I'm trying to get through the original first 3 seasons because I want to get to Zeo. I want to dive back into Zeo, because the Gold Ranger stuff for me is just ultimate. I love the Gold Ranger stuff. So, all right, guys, we are at a solid hour and a half. So let's bring this bird in for a landing, shall we?
Yes.
So first off, we're going to go through the whole where can they find you section. So Adam, where can they find you?
From a certain point of view.com is probably the best place. From there, you can get everywhere that our show is currently being broadcast to. Twitter is the best place for our social stuff. That's a certain POV pod. So from there, that'll get you everywhere you need to go.
Nice. Brad, where can they find you?
You can find me socially on Facebook. Talking to the Forces, you're talking to me. Other than that, we are currently getting onto Anchor.fm and all of their affiliates. We are officially no longer on Podbean, but we're getting back out there. So,
yep. And you guys can find me on Twitter at Force_losers. If you're talking to the Force Losers on Twitter, it's this guy. You guys can also find me on Instagram at HeavyKVHKT if you want to see a super soft dude try to get a little stronger and do one of them Transformation Tuesday type things. I guess. I mean, if that floats your boat, I will warn you. I do everything everything shirtless. So view at your own risk. There might be things you cannot unsee. What can I say? I'm jiggling for justice over here. Beyond that, you guys can also find us, and from a certain point of view, on red5network.com. You can find a whole host of awesome podcasts there. They've been an amazing network with amazing people. If it wasn't for Red 5, we wouldn't be actually having this conversation today. Beyond that, I know we have a new episode dropping very, very soon. We sat down with the gang over at Nerd Herder Council, Nerd Herder. What is it? Nerd Herder podcast. I'm sorry, I butchered your name. My bad. We sat down with them and had an awesome discussion about the failings of moral exemplars in Star Wars. It was a really awesome discussion. That's dropping very soon. I know, Adam, you guys had an episode drop recently.
We just recorded episode 40 today, and that'll drop tomorrow, Sunday, the 2nd.
Sweet. So some new content coming from a certain point of view, new stuff coming from us. And I think they're doing a Red 5 roundup here real soon. You're going to find that on red5network.com. You can see the latest stuff that every show has put out. Beyond that, I want to thank our guest, Adam, for joining us tonight. This was a conversation. Dude, thank you for coming, man. I was really looking forward to this conversation, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And I'm proud that we didn't get as salty as we could have been. We could have gotten real bitter tonight, and we did not do that.
Sons of bitches. Give me that movie.
Yeah, right. See, let's do that. Let's just end it on a bitter note. Yeah. Sons of bitches. Fuck you, Lionsgate. Thanks, Cam. You have an awesome night too, man. Thank you for joining us. And thank you guys for joining us tonight in the live stream. And thank you for those who view it later. We appreciate it. Now, Adam, we have a tradition here that when we end a show, we end it with a later bitches, right? We tell everyone later bitches, right? So we always like to have our guests lower the bar with us and come on down and muck around with us down here. So on the count of 3, we're going to give them a later bitches. Ready?
Do we go on 3?
We go on after 3. So on, okay. I guess, after 3. Yeah. Okay, ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. A 1, a 2, a 3. Later, bitches.
Later, bitches.